Good morning, PyCon US. I see some of you folks have gotten some great coffee and breakfast this morning. Thank you for your enthusiasm. This is what we all need on Saturday mornings. Just bring the energy, folks. Bring the energy. Of course, as soon as I said that, I closed the very important thing I wanted to use. I just wanted to do a quick intro to our lovely panel right here, the Diversity and Inclusion panel, and there will be round of applause for them. We're going to jump straight into it with The Work Still Matters, Inclusion, Access, and Community in 2025. So please take it away, D&I panel.
Good morning, PyCon US 2025. I'm a first-time attendee, and first-time attendee, all my life weirdo. I have found my tribe. Okay. We are going to get into some meaningful discussion, a little bit about me, and then I'm going to have the rest of the panel introduce themselves. My name is Keanya Phelps. I'm a software developer for Cactus Group Consulting based out of North Carolina. However, I live in Chicago. I am a proud Chicagoan. Yes. I was not expecting that. Okay. I am a proud Chicagoan. I am very passionate about inclusive community organizing and house music. I am going to be, if you are looking to come to like the most beautiful city, Chicago, September, shameless plug, DjangoCon US. Second week of September, please, I would love to personally take you on a tour of downtown Chicago. Yes, I mean, within reason. I am going to hand it off now to the rest of the panel. Naomi, would you go ahead?
Yeah, hi, I'm Naomi Ceder. I think my main qualification these days is that I'm old. I've been around the Python community for a long time and have been interested in helping people maybe find their voice within the Python community. And I also am proudly from Chicago, in case you want to know.
Hi, I'm Jay Miller. I'm the founder of Black Python Devs, and thank you. I've been in the Python community for going on 11 years now, which feels ridiculous. And I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia.
So hi everyone, my name is Cristián. I am one of the organizers of the Python en Español, which is a Spanish-speaking community focused on put all the Spanish-speaking countries together, and also on my spare time, I really like to help other Python communities and initiatives.
Hi everyone, I am Alla. I'm a lawyer turned Python enthusiast and SF PyLadies organizer from the San Francisco area. And just a heads up to everyone, if you want to get to know the diversity and inclusion working group of the PSF a little bit better, Keanya and I will be hosting open space at 2 p.m., so come join us and get to know us a little bit better. But I am going to kickstart the panel. So we want to note that today's panel is not just a diversity and inclusion panel. This is a conversation about belonging, despite recent political and legal changes. So the panel is going to talk about how we can keep showing up for each other and the practical things that we can do to make that happen. So to get started, I'm going to pass things along to Naomi. And the first question is, you have been a longtime champion of D&I and queer inclusion in the Python community. How are you feeling at this moment? And what lessons can we learn from your experience?
Well, I think like many people in similar positions these days, I am worried, I am tired, I am disappointed, I am angry. I also would like to say too, though, that I think I also am defiant, and I think I'm also hopeful. These days, almost every day, I think of a quote from Maya Angelou, "Every storm runs out of rain." I think right now we're kind of reeling under some recent developments, but I can see lots of signs of of people of goodwill starting to find their footing, starting to think of ways to work against this. So that's where I'm at. It's that kind of uncomfortable mixture.
Great. And Christian, I have a question for you. From where you are in the global community, how are these United States DEI rollbacks felt, if at all? And what helps international communities stay grounded?
Yeah, I think that is very tricky because the the reality that we have in different countries, I mean, the news that we get, I am based in Berlin, in Europe. The news that I get there are completely different sometimes to the news that I know all my friends from South America get. So sometimes, even from coming here, many people were sharing and trying to create some networks of like, hey, let me know if you arrive safely. And they were like, yeah, of course I will arrive. What do you mean? I said, no, but have you read the news? And it was like, which news? So it's very weird as well, but it's a reality. I mean, it's something that has been happening. Maybe now we are more aware of what is happening. Maybe they are happening more frequently, whatever. But I believe that the same way that we are very good at hacking some things and system and try to find our ways around, we can still find ways of somehow bypass some things and trying to find, okay, you can still meet, you can still go to PyCon US, be more careful and stuff, or find other ways. Like, I know it's not our best, but online meetups or conference sometimes are a solution if things are very, very, very bad. But yeah, I think that we can find our way. We're going to hack around whatever thing is in place at the moment. But yeah, that's the thing that I believe.
Do you have one personal way that you stay grounded in all of the turmoil and chaos? Or?
Oh, I don't know. I just try. I try different ways and ask different people, like, what should I do, or what other communities are doing. I don't know. For example, if in the Black Python Dev you had like any way of like encouraging people to come anyways, or saying. But yeah, it was tricky. I mean, people traveling from abroad, so.
We just told them, if you don't already have your visa and you are still trying, like, if you have your appointment, good. If you don't have your appointment now, let's talk about putting something in your local community, because the reality is just you're probably not going to be able to make it in. And that's heartbreaking, but I would much rather help them build something where they're at versus risk them coming in. Last year, we had 3 people that made it in whose credit cards didn't work when they checked into their hotel. And luckily, they had me available to like run to their hotel real quick, put down a deposit, and like let them in. But imagine you're getting out of customs and you're doing something like that, and all of a sudden you can't pay for a meal or you can't check into your hotel, and then what do you do? And then they're like, well, what are you doing here? What does your visa say you're supposed to be doing? Why are you stuck in New York and not Pittsburgh because you missed your flight? The reality is just when we can't trust that people will be able to make it, it's easier for us to say it's better if you just don't.
And feeling alone, just to complement that, is something that, of course, my English, you can feel that it's not native, right? So many people also sometimes, I know people here that speak only a little bit of English. So being in this situation, or where maybe you're asked about documentation, like your passport or whatever, can be very intimidated because it's not your first language, you cannot properly communicate. So having these networks, these communities, I think it is essential for ensure people's safety.
Thank you. And the next question is for Jay. You've been very vocal about the emotional weight of undertaking inclusion work. How can we continue doing inclusion work without burning out?
Well, I will say that, like, no one ever comes in thinking that they're doing this for the rest of their life. They want to get things started and keep going. A few minutes before we got on stage, my good friend Carol said, Jay, you're a force. And I was like, yeah, I'm like a Category 5 hurricane. Like, after it's hit like 4 or 5 places and now it's just a small tropical storm or like a light sprinkle. So, the best of intentions come in with you wanting to like radically change the world, and then they result with like, well, maybe if I can just help one person, then I'm gonna call it a win for the day. And I mean, the reality is I could probably ask people to raise their hands how many people here have volunteered for something thinking they were going to do it 1 or 2 times, and then 3 or 4 years later, you're still there doing that thing. And when that takes a financial toll, an emotional toll, when you can't book vacations, when you have to say, no, I'm not going to this one conference because it's my daughter's birthday, which is a real thing that's happening to me this year, where I'm choosing between my family and literally my best friends in the world. Like, it comes to a head. And eventually, I would much rather people do the thing, do it briefly, get someone else quickly in place, and then leave for a year or two, get re-energized, become another force again, and then come back and bring fresh ideas and brand new energy to the scene, than to sit there and just drag on and on and on and on. So yeah, I'm all for before you burn out. I think Simona put it in her keynote last year. I forgot what day of the year it is, but for me it's every day. It's verify, is this a thing that I should still be doing? And it's okay to say, I'm gonna hang it up, at least for now.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to ask all of you, Naomi, Jay, and Christian, what effort from your past has taught you the most about what sustainable inclusion looks like?
Well, actually, it is all of you. It's what we have managed to do with the Python community over, I would say, the past, well, it's been 25 years. So if I look back to where we were then as to where we are now, there's still a lot that we need to do, both in terms of diversity in many, many axes and in terms of making things sustainable. But I would say we are light years beyond where we were 2 decades ago. So that for me is really encouraging.
Yes. Yes.
The one that I kept thinking about was our support for PyCon Nigeria versus PyCon Uganda. And it's this idea that sustainability looks different depending on where you are and depending on the circumstances. Last year, I was on the same stage talking about how we helped bring 50 students to PyCon Nigeria to go to their first conference. And this was this amazing thing that we were able to do. It was fantastic. And then we went to PyCon Uganda, and we wanted to do the same thing. It was a little bit more expensive, so we were 35 students to go to PyCon Uganda, and they were like, for the love, please don't do that. We don't have the space, the capacity, the food. Bringing in 35 more bodies into what we're trying to do would literally bankrupt and cause everything else to go into the red. And in our minds, we're just trying to build the community. And it's yeah, but there's the thing about scalability. If you scale too quickly, you run over. So instead, we were you know what? You know what you need. Here, this year, we plan to, we intend to sponsor again. No strings attached. You as a community know what you need. So do what you think you need to do to be sustainable. Don't let us come in. Don't let the American come in and tell people in Uganda what they need to do to be sustainable. They got it.
Yes.
So yeah, I was trying to think what would be the best example, and I believe that is related to documentation. So back then, many years ago, 2019, I was around in this PyCon. It was very hype. I mean, I didn't know anyone, but still had fun. There was this initiative about starting to translate the Python documentation in Spanish. I was lucky enough that I learned English from all the video games and music, of course, and I remember that my friend told me yeah, you should go there and do it. And I said, why? I mean, people can read English. And then I started to think about, I can do maybe a couple of things here and there. And then you start to see all these people from different countries being super grateful because now it's more approachable. I mean, of course, now you can use any translation tool, right? And then we started this community to translate this thing, and we started to brainwash people that contributing to documentation is also contributing to Python. You don't need to solve so it's a very important thing. And then we got people jumping in this group, they didn't know how to use Git. they didn't know how to use Python, and they were like interesting because they could speak a little bit. So they had learning this whole process of like contribution to open source project, writing documentation in your things, and then we did a very nice gesture in the repository that we put all the faces of the people that have contributed, and they were so happy about it. I believe that it kind of like is a good example of like things can be started as something very simple, but the impact on that thing is amazing. So I would say that's the best example that I have.
Ah, nice example.
And we have another question for each panelist to answer. And the question is, what is one tangible thing that we can do right now to support inclusion in the Python community, even when structural support fades?
Well, I think I want to start by saying that I'm probably not alone in feeling really frustrated with all sorts of performative expressions of outrage or whatever that ultimately lead to no action. So what I would suggest in terms of this is really almost anything you can do to help everyone else stay in the fight. I mean, maybe it is giving a good tip to an obviously trans waitress. Maybe it is mentoring somebody who does not have a normal entry into the community. It could be any number of little things like that. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but doing something that actually helps somebody keep going on. And if you think about it, you can find those opportunities.
Yes.
I'm going to be the rude person and just say you need to support financially. Like, I have seen too many of these organizations fall in the last year and 2 years that are just like organizations that I thought were a force. If you hear me say it now, you don't have to come to my lightning talk if it gets accepted later. Black Python Devs operates with 1 year and 3 months of runway, which means that if we don't make any more money, we have 1 year and 3 months of support. That's it. And I know a lot of organizations that do a lot more than what we do with even less runway. So if you see someone in your, and I'm not just saying like donate to Black Python Devs, which you should, and PyLadies, come on, and Django Girls. If you want these things to exist, give them your money, but also in your local areas too. If you want to see these things continue to exist, these things that have been around for years and years, I promise you a lot of that being around is probably bankrupting the people who organize it. So yeah, sorry, I'm not going to be nice about it. Give them your money.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's besides what they already shared, that is very true. So yeah, please donate money to all the initiatives we have. I don't know. I think that the essence of the diversity that we have in the community is to, at least depending on the country, is to stop thinking that diversity is just to, I don't know, help women, right? Diversity, Naomi said, that has many axes, right? There's many dimensions to diversity, right? Could be language, could be gender, could be whatever, right? So I'd say that the key is just keep helping people. Don't worry, I mean, do not like help because of whatever goal you want to achieve. Like, you can easily like help your local PyLadies chapter with whatever they need. You can help your local meetup, your local conference, run for things. We still have, like, for example, a lot of spots to be filled to help in this conference. Like if you want to be a chair, you want to help with the booth or whatever, so please check it out, please. And this is the essence, like keep helping people, because when you start helping a lot of people, then you notice that those people also start to help other people, right? So it's a pyramid scheme that I want to convince you to start contributing. But I would say that, just help people. I mean, whatever you can do, it will be really helpful for everyone. So yeah.
Excellent.
So I will also pass it back to the panel. If you just want to give a brief closing thought before we wrap up.
I have one. I mentioned a bunch of groups there. I do want to also mention the work that Python en Español is doing. I want to give a shout out to PAO, the PyCon Asia organizers community. I've been watching a lot of these communities grow and develop and get an identity and get their style and their flavor and like, you know, I would say their swag, and it's like, it's amazing. Like, just seeing organizers who don't have, I mean, they have a language in common in some cases, not even in all cases, and they find ways to support one another as a community. And then they all come here and watch Americans bicker and fight and act like wild animals. And like, I don't understand like why we can't get our shit together. But like, if these communities who often were rife with colonialization, rife with imperialism, rife with the countries next door to each other literally claiming each other's land as their own, and their people and eradicating their cultures, if they can get together and do conferences successfully and support one another, then like we can get through a couple of bad years of this DEI stuff. Like I'm pretty sure that we can figure it out.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm going to maybe extend on that a little bit. And what I want to point out is that it's over the years that people have looked at this have been pretty clear that one of the keys to resiliency is sort of a twofold approach. On the one hand, we have to be very, very honest with where we are now, okay? In crisis situations, the people that delude themselves that it's going to be better tomorrow usually are wrong and usually are broken. So this is, that's where I'm going to, it's going to be more than 2 years, man. I'm sorry.
I was being optimistic.
Yeah, this is a long slog that we need to be ready to go for. But we also need to maintain that optimism, that hope, that certainty that we can make things better. So that's the thing I think that is most important. That's why I liked the title of this particular presentation. It still matters. We're still in the fight. We still need to keep going.
So yeah, I guess that you said most of the important things already, but just to add a couple of things will be like mostly that even if this thing continues for a couple of more years, it will pass. At least I try to have this mindset that like maybe now it's very difficult, but maybe there will be an amazing period as well coming. And so, you know, let's try to be strong together and try to keep around and wait for until things are very good. And the other thing to add is about the mindset. We have already many communities, and you might believe like we have enough communities doing all the things. Or you need to be maybe an expert to start your own. You don't need to be an expert. And still, the number one question, at least we get in the Python Espanol like Discord server, is like, hey, I tried to run this code, and it says that this module was not found. And it's like, well, you know, everyone knows here. I hope that, you know, just install it, whatever. So there's tons of people out there that they don't still know the most basic things of the language. So there is still a lot of things to improve out there. So if you want to start your own community, your own meetup, whatever, just do it. Maybe it will last longer. Maybe it will just be, merge with something else. But don't think you are less because you live in a country that nobody knows where it is. How many people know where Chile is, by the way? Good. I hope that all the hands were, but anyway. But anyway, so even if you are in these countries that you dream about maybe at some point going to the US or going to Europe to know the, you know, the old world, you can still do things. I remember many people, they never imagined they got the opportunity to come to this conference. They were in awe, like, oh my God, this huge like place, all these people doing all this great stuff. So don't think you are less because of where you live, and just think big because you have the support, I guess, for many people in this audience as well. So yeah.
I just want to give one shout out to Django Knott's space, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be comfortable to speak, to code, to be in rooms with geniuses and weirdos like yourselves. So I just want to Django Knott's space. Okay, all right, I'm done.
So I want to thank all the panelists for their insightful answers. And I hope that everyone here today can walk away feeling empowered to promote inclusion in their local Python community. Regulation isn't inclusion. Inclusion is about supporting each other and showing up for each other. And I want to once again thank the panel for showing up for us today, and I hope you can all give them a big round of applause.
All right. Well, the offer still stands. DjangoCon US, Chicago 2025. Somebody pull me off the stage. I keep plugging it right. All right.
Get ready for an awesome keynote.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello? Ooh, okay, this works. All right, thank you so much, Diversity Inclusion panel. That was fantastic. How's everyone doing right now? Everyone getting pumped? All right. I want you all to give a big round of applause and thanks to our lovely sponsor, Bloomberg. Andy's here right now to give us a little spiel about the great work that they do. So please, Andy, take it away.
Sure. Hi, I'm Andy Fundinger, a Bloomberg engineer and a leader in our company's Python Guild. On behalf of Bloomberg, I'd like to welcome you all to PyCon US 2025. Bloomberg is a high-tech, data-driven, cross-platform software company designed to democratize access to information so it can be used to make smarter business and investment decisions. At Bloomberg, we use Python to help deliver news, information, and analytics across the global financial industry. We have more than 4,000 engineers and data analysts within our company using Python daily. Work at Bloomberg is fast-paced and challenging. This means a lot of decisions need to be made quickly. So how do we make those decisions? At Bloomberg, we trust each and every one of our people to learn everything they can and make the choice that is best for our community, teams, clients, and where we can, the world in which we work and live. We tackle some of the hardest problems in the world, collecting the data that makes the financial world turn, getting it to our clients, and layering the analysis that they value on top of it all. When we do this, there are a lot of details that must be added. How do we test? Which libraries do we use? What do we optimize? Implementing requires a continuous stream of choices, and at Bloomberg, we expect each of our engineers to make good choices as they go. Now, not every decision can be made on an individual level. Our teams make decisions like how much testing to do, how to do peer reviews, which build tools to use, and so on. Our continuing education department will train us on the best options and reasons so that we can come back to our teams and make new, even better decisions. When we need to make more sweeping changes, we'll need more people. But the goal of doing the right thing remains. Is the right thing to use C, Java, or Go? That's exactly how Bloomberg started adopting Python. Should we share our knowledge in a tech talk, course, or conference? Should we join with the larger community to learn what is possible? Hi, we're here today at PyCon because we thought so. Today's talks and conversations throughout this conference will help us all to learn about what is possible and how to do the best throughout our work. I hope that you will take what you learn here and bring it back to your work, open source projects, and hobbies. We support this community because the existence of this community and the work we do collectively not only gives us awesome tools, but also the background and know-how to use them. This week's speakers and attendees from Bloomberg will attempt to share what we've learned, but we're all here to renew our connections to the larger Python community. So please, visit our booth, stop us in the hallways, catch up with us during the breaks, and we'll happily chat about what we know, or what we think we know. And with that, Elaine has some more announcements.
Thank you so much, Andy, for all the for your generous support at PyCon US. Thank you so much, Bloomberg. All right, so I have the joys of introducing Lynn, but before that, I am going to subject you all to a bunch of morning announcements. Sorry to keep you waiting. Again, my name is Elaine. You can contact me at these lovely locations. If you at ElderNerd at one social media platform, you probably will find me. And my email there is elaine@python. My lovely co-chair is John, and you can bug John in these following @ and at python.org. And welcome to day number 4. All right, quick release notes because apparently I forgot a few things yesterday. So this is version 2025, 517. Just a quick recap of yesterday. Look, we got through a round of talks. They were all fantastic. Lightning talks were also very entertaining, and I enjoyed listening to all of them. FlashCon went off very well, as well as Typing and Maintainer Summit, or Typing and Maintainer Summit. Just a heads up, we are looking for volunteers. You can sign up by using this QR code or going to this website, and you'll get a list of, I guess, a schedule with a little icon at the very bottom when you sign into your PyCon US dashboard. If you click the little icon, you have successfully volunteered for a shift. We're looking for folks at the registration desk to help with swag I did not type that right. Swag hand out. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. Those notes should not be shared with anyone. Green room is basically a place for to help speakers get ready for their talks, make sure that they get to the right room and they have everything they need. We also would love to get a few more session chairs, so help with time out the talks and make sure that our schedule's coming to time. As you can tell, I'm doing a horrible job. Of course, runners going back and forth. We also have a lovely information booth, so if you ever want to practice your skills on telling people where places are and answering fun PyCon US questions, that is the place for you. Just a reminder about the code of conduct. These are the places you can report any violations via text, email, or you can find a staff member in room 306. They will be wearing an orange shirt that says code of conduct. And just a reminder, we got some fantastic keynotes for the rest of the weekend. As you know, Lynn is coming up very, very shortly. But I just wanted, I know, very exciting. I just want to let you know on Sunday morning, Tom and Jeff from the Marshall Project will be here to have a conversation moderated by our very own Jackie Cazell. And for those of you who might not know what the Marshall Project is, they're a Pulitzer Prize-winning nonprofit newsroom focused on the US criminal justice system. Through powerful investigative journalism and storytelling, they expose injustices, elevate the voice of those impacted by incarceration, and drive national conversations about reform. So if these topics sound interesting to you, please check them out. They'll be here Sunday morning. You can grab breakfast and listen to a great conversation ahead. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. They are fantastic. And just letting you know that on Sunday afternoon, we have Dr. Kari L. Jordan, who is a dynamic leader in data science and education and quality. As executive director of the Carpentries, she champions inclusive, community-driven approaches to teaching code and data skills. For those of you who may not know what the Carpentries are, they're an awesome organization. They make complex skills accessible, and they are the ones who are teaching foundational programming and data skills in a way that emphasizes inclusivity, collaboration, and real-world applications, especially for people working in research and science who are not traditionally trained as coders. And of course, we got some special guests as well this weekend with our security engineers on Sunday morning and our steering council on Sunday afternoon. Just a quick reminder about hatcheries. This morning will be the Community Organizer Summit, and in the afternoon is Hometown Heroes, where we're going to be featuring a lot of local talks from local folks in the area. And then tomorrow, if you ever wanted to learn Python for data science in a beginner-friendly way, please check out Humble Data Workshop, all in room 317. I agree. Woohoo! Other fun events are Packaging Summit and Mentor Sprints. No one wants to hear me talk, so I'm just going to rush through all this. Open spaces, please sign up if you have anything you would like to organize. It's relatively simple, and then It should be all lovingly put up in this lovely webpage. Of course, if you love lightning talks this morning, you have 2 more opportunities this afternoon/evening and tomorrow morning. I believe the signups for today have gone up, so sign up now or forever hold your peace, at least for this year. And one last thing, as everyone has mentioned, the Pie Ladies charity auction is tonight. This is the biggest fundraiser for the Pie Ladies organization, and for the low price of $45, you get a dinner valued at $90 and a drink ticket. It actually is also a contribution to the Pie Ladies, so think of it as your charitable donation to Pie Ladies for the year, and a fun night of fun auction items where you can try and outbid who will get the actual Guido cutout this year. The actual life-size Guido cutout versus the non-life-size Guido cutouts of last year. So come, it's a great time. We always have a lot of fun. It always ends with at least one Guido going out the door. And don't forget to pop by the expo hall. It is the last day for our sponsors, so go and say hi. Give them tons of thanks for their generous sponsorship throughout the conference. And if you forgot a pair of socks, I'm sure one of them can hook you up. And in case you need the Wi-Fi password, here is it once again. And those are my these are my morning announcements.